think where we've been. When in Europe, I've toured Europe a bit, and there's a couple places there where I could. One place in Germany in particular that was very similar and had a lot of really old ghosts because it was an old pub and they had this some lodging there too. And I remember getting a good chat with him. I can't remember. I think it might have been Rostock or somewhere up North Germany. Anyway, and there was no strategies. You just exchange war stories. It's like, and I remember the impression I got from that place was that they just had really ancient ghosts. I mean, going back hundreds of years. I mean, made our little 100-year hotels just seem like the Walmart next door. It's pretty cool. But I don't know many. I mean, in doing this show, have you found what are some of the other haunted venues?
Well, here in Ohio, one of the local venues is the Agora Theater in Cleveland, which I've been to.
Agora.
And it's an excellent place. I wanted to try to get in touch with them about having them come on the show too, but I couldn't get an email through to them. The current attitude in Cleveland is kind of like every venue owner is a rock star themselves. Okay. And so a lot of times, unless you have some good credentials behind you already, they don't really want to have a lot of interviews and things with you, unfortunately. Right. So we're hoping one of those days that situation kind of improves a little bit, not to be rude to Cleveland.
But you bring up a good point. I mean, like the Agora and some of the classic old theaters, of course they'd have ghost stories. And just, because ours is a little different in that most of our ghosts are above the venue, and the artists interact with them, but it's really the hotel. It's the hotel above, it's not any guys behind the curtain of the stage looming around. Like Phantom of the Opera style. That's cool, though. What any others have you looked at? Any from your neck of the woods up in Washington?
Well, there was told that the Moore Theater is haunted, but I never really went into the Moore Theater, so I can't really say anything about it. I'm trying to think of a few of the things that I do know. I do know the Underground City in Seattle is somewhat active. I took a tour down there, and you can still feel the trauma down there. I'm very sensitive to the ghostly plane, and it's very, very sensitive down there. You can actually, if you really zone in, you can probably still feel the warmth through the cement. Well, I can. I don't know if anybody else can. But it's pretty spooky down there. It's very eerie, but that's about I can think of the top of my head any haunted venues, like music venues. I'm on top of my head. I haven't really been to them as much. Right,
and I'm just wondering. It makes me think. I wonder if the haunted venues, especially the ones that have been a venue for so long, I wonder if the paranormal activity is from artists themselves, past artists that had their last show, those important moments, because artists' greatest moments in their lives are on the stage. Yeah. And I could see them leaving a bit of themselves there. That'd be something to pursue. As a place that's been around for only 30 years, it's the artists are all mostly alive. Like we're all punk rockers and just hanging out.
I do remember I used to be a club disc jockey back before I was 21, and the place called Java Jump is no longer there. It's bulldozed and someone else planted things on it. There was told it was very haunted. I never really had any experience with it, but they had someone there that was pregnant and felt some kind of presence just rub their hand against the stomach of her, and she was nowhere near anybody, and she screeched and ran out the door, and she never came back to the club.
Can I tell you my one weird ghost story as a touring musician? Yeah. And one that the band will never, forget. So we're in Salt Lake City, and there's 4 of us at the time, and we're playing a show there, and they put us up in some decrepit old Best Western or something, right? And there's 4 of us in the band, and the room we're staying in has 2 double beds. So we go, okay, it's the old, the old night where we got 2 in a bed, everyone 2 in a bed, and okay, it's like we're going to war or something. So I'm in one bed on the right-hand side, and the guitarist and the drummer, I'm in bed with the bass player on the right-hand side, and the guitarist and drummer are on the other bed to the left of me. And I sort of get up in the middle of the night, and I'm just sitting staring on my, on my side, just sort of staring into the darkness toward the other bed. And about after 5 minutes, I hear Rich, the guitarist, goes, "Bruce!" He's her drummer. Goes, "Get off me! What are you doing? Get off me!" And he gets up and looks around and goes, and Bruce is completely on the other side of the bed. I mean, they're not small beds. You don't have to, naturally just cuddle up with one another. And it was weird. He just sort of got up and he stood up and looked around. And he was just kind of shaking, and I didn't say anything. I was just staring at him. It was the whole thing. He went back to bed, and I'm still sitting there going, that was weird. What a little weird nightmare he had. And within 5-10 minutes, I feel my bass player come up and spoon me, and rather aggressively, dare I say. He's coming, "Hey, Mark, you're not with your girl. Pull over." I turn over, and Mark isn't anywhere near me. Nowhere near me. He's completely on the other side of the bed. And I get up, and right at that moment, and I swear to God, and it's a very dark room, but I saw this dark, shadowy thing move across the room and out the door. And my heart starts pounding. I get out. And here's the other weird thing. I had sort of a freak out. I had to leave the room, and I felt this murderous feeling, like I wanted to kill somebody. And I stepped out in the hall. I went downstairs to the night clerk. Said, and to this day, I've been wanting to go back and figure out what that hotel was, find out if something terrible happened to that room, because it was awful. Like some bad guy was in there doing some bad things. And it was so vivid, and we didn't share beds for the rest of the tour.
I don't blame you.
But I'll never forget that. I mean, it made no sense, and it was just frightening. So there you have it. Their haunted venue in Salt Lake City, or haunted hotel, I guess.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds really intense.
What's that?
I said that sounds really intense.
It was incredibly intense. And the thing I take away from it is how that murderous feeling I had after the incident. And I left the hallway, and it was just like, it was an emotion that didn't feel like me. It was really weird. It was unsettling and something I'll really never forget.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, that's pretty, wow, dude.
Yeah. I mean, and here's, what's my belief in paranormal? I don't know. I'll just take it face value. That happened. I was there. I watched the whole thing go down, This is, sorry.
No, don't apologize whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm saying sorry to any, here's my story, and this is what I know, so. Yikes.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Musicians are natural empaths. Artists are, they're naturally just taking in the world, emotions and everything in it. So you guys are incredibly susceptible to hauntings, and just not even people that have passed on, but somebody that experienced strong emotion right there.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, to be a creative musician, you have to be open to stuff. You have to open up whatever gate that is. And it makes a lot of sense that other things, it's not just a one-way, other things can come in, you're open to it. It's like a beacon. And it's the best part of the human condition in my mind, but it does, it makes sense that you'd be susceptible for sure.
Pretty crazy. Alrighty, so I got Hugh here for a little bit longer, so we can ask more questions in the chat room for David, or Lorianna can do a reading for David for the Club Congress.
That'd be interesting.
What I get with the club, while I've been talking with you guys or listening with you guys, is I get a lot of people a lot of nights, a lot of pages, and it makes sense being a hotel and having artists coming in and out of there. It does go on like a couple. So is there an owner or is it owners of the hotel?
It's a local couple who own the place. We've had it the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There was the King and the Queen of Swords that kept coming up together, and they look like they're managing it pretty well, actually.
Yeah, they do a good job. Yeah.
So I got the Fool in the future. Are you guys going to change something or try something new?
Well, we are. The big change is coming in that we're basically adding another venue, and it'll happen the next couple of years. Our small club, we're going to add this giant, taking our whole outside area and turning it into a venue, sort of like an amphitheater, outside park amphitheater, so it's going to change the dynamic intensely. Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. So we'll basically have two venues here, and it'll be more art, more stuff, more music, more everything. It's going to take what we've done, and it's a major move. It's a major change. It's an interesting thing to say, because it's a big change. Yeah.
Well, the cards pretty much support your actions. Having the Fool come up, it always means that you're taking a risk. You're not quite sure how it's going to pan out, but the cards around it with the King of Swords, so that you have plenty of support. So don't stress about it.
I am so unstressed about it. I am so blindly thinking it's the greatest idea in the world that I haven't even considered it to be a risk. But it probably is.
Anything new is a little bit of a risk, but the cards supporting the hotel, they do, like, the foundation was the Two of Cups. That's why I was like so glad to hear that it was a couple that have had the hotel and have had it for a while, because it's something that they truly love.
Yeah.
And they'll keep working with it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful family who and the fact that they bought it not as artists themselves, but as they understood the arts and so appreciated it. They gave it over to people like myself and my predecessors, who were just wonderful artists. It's pretty cool. It's been a great. They've cultivated that here in a wonderful way, and it's worked out wonderfully for the business. So, again, it's been. I wish all ownership understood. If you let interesting, creative people have a little freedom, they can do some marvelous things and do good business too.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. You seeing anything else there?
That's pretty much all that I saw. You have a lot of people around you. You have a good management team, is what I can see, because although they're fair they're not going to take any shit either.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how you read that, but you're right.
The big thing is the excitement about something new. It's like, okay, we're going to do something new. This is really exciting, and there's all the build-up. You just have a really good foundation, because you had a lot of cups. Like, you had the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, and those are your creative artist types that aren't worried about budgeting, aren't worried about the accounting book, and you had kind of keeping everybody in line, the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, and they're very like, it's going to be my way or it's going to be no way. So they're able to shepherd and keep everybody kind of in line.
Well, I hope it all works out the way that I hope that goes that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be cool. I hope that you guys can check back in when we have it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have another kind of varying question here. As far as all the artists that you've had play there, considering all the various supernatural things that happen in the hotel, what's one artist that you have not hosted there that you would like to, that you know would be really into the hotel, kind of the history of that? That
we haven't hosted.
Yes. Might be a pretty distant list because you probably had a lot of people pass through there.
You know, we've had everyone from Nirvana to Sia to